The national championship game is set with Miami taking on Indiana this Monday at Hard Rock Stadium, which is also Miami's home stadium, so a huge advantage here for Miami. And this is also a very intriguing matchup and something we wouldn't have had happen just a few years ago. See, Indiana has looked like the best team all season. They beat Oregon at home. They beat Ohio State in the conference championship game, and they really haven't had any super close games in the college football playoff. This is a team that has looked like the best team in the country from August all the way to now, halfway through January. Miami, though, is the opposite. They looked really good to start the season, but then really fell off, losing games to Louisville and SMU that they really shouldn't have, and honestly looking kind of mid in the middle of the season. However, they are getting hot at the right time. Their defense has looked like the best defense in the country since the playoffs started, and they really haven't missed a beat at all on the field. Let's take a look at how each team got here. But before we talk about how each team got here, make sure to take a moment to like and subscribe. It takes just a minute to click the like button and click the subscribe button, and it helps my channel grow so I can deliver more content to you guys. It also tells the algorithm to put more college football on your feed, and I see that as a win-win. You like college football, you probably want more of it. You subscribe to me, I start to grow. It's a win-win. Hit the button. First, let's look at Indiana, the never won a national championship Indiana program. And this year, Indiana has looked great all season. They beat Illinois when Illinois was looking good. They beat Iowa by 5. They beat Oregon in Autzen Stadium. They struggled against Penn State, but were able to rally on their last drive and come away with a win. And then they ended up beating Ohio State in the conference championship game. Ohio State, who a lot of people, myself included, thought was the best team in the country this year. Indiana proved us all wrong. Indiana is the only team over the last 2 years to win when they had a first round bye, and they go and they beat Alabama 38-3. They beat Oregon 56-22, and in both of those games, they absolutely dominated. And oh yeah, Fernando Mendoza, he won the Heisman this year. Meanwhile, on the other side, you have Miami, the has-beens, the won 5 national championships and really haven't done anything since their last one in 2001. Miami started the season looking really good. They beat Notre Dame at home 27-24. They beat Florida 26-7. They beat Florida State 28-22 to claim the Governor's Cup, but then they start to struggle. They lose to Louisville 24-21. 2 weeks later, they lose to SMU 26-20 in overtime. Carson Beck throws an interception in the end zone in overtime, and then SMU ends up scoring to win the game. They then finish the year strong, beating Pitt 38-7, but they still miss out on the ACC championship game. But even with those 2 losses, they still sneak into the playoffs, getting in over Notre Dame because they beat them head-to-head. In the playoffs, they beat Texas A&M, who had 1 loss to Texas, 10-3. They beat Ohio State 24-14, completely shut down Julian Sayin and the Ohio State offense. They beat Ole Miss 31-27. Trinidad Chambliss scores late in the game to give Ole Miss the lead. Carson Beck drives Miami down the field, ends up running in for a touchdown. Miami hangs on to win that game, and now they are getting to play in the national championship. And even the way these teams match up is interesting. For Indiana, you have Fernando Mendoza, who's really their only star player, and even then, he has only thrown for 300 yards 1 time this season. I mean, he is not the reason Indiana is winning. He's not going out there and putting the team on his back and leading this team to victory like we've seen other Heisman candidates or Heisman winners do. Instead, this is a team that just plays really, really good fundamental football throughout the entire game. At running back, they have a 2-headed monster with Roman Hembley and Kalon Black. Receivers, they have Omari Cooper Jr. as their leading receiver, who only had 800 yards on the season up to this point, including the playoffs. They also have Elijah Sarrett, Charlie Becker. They have some good players, but besides Fernando Mendoza, they don't really have any superstars. Even on defense, they don't have any superstars like Miami has Ruben Mays Jr., Texas Tech had J-Rod. They're just a good fundamental team that is going to go out there, do their job to perfection, and really play almost perfect football for 60 minutes. And it is really hard to beat a team when everybody is doing their assignment and playing great football like that. It is harder to beat a team that's doing that than it is to beat a team that has a handful of superstars that are going to make great plays. But Miami's kind of the opposite of that. They have some absolute dudes on their team, but we've seen them just not be able to put it all together earlier in the season. At quarterback, they have Carson Beck, who is not a great quarterback, but he's done enough to get the job done so far. He did lead Miami on that game-winning drive against Ole Miss with multiple 3rd and longs that he was able to convert on and put together some really good passes, and then finished it off with a rushing touchdown because Ole Miss dropped everybody into man-on-man coverage, not leaving anybody home to spy Carson Beck. And he's not necessarily known as a running quarterback either. But Carson Beck has also looked not great at times, including in in that game. He will miss on throws. He will make the wrong read. He threw that what would be game-losing interception against SMU in overtime. But Miami's ground game is really good with Mark Fletcher Jr. through both the regular season and this far into the postseason. 199 carries, over 1,000 yards, and 10 touchdowns. With a lot of that being done in the postseason, Mark Fletcher Jr. is playing really good football right now. Miami also has a couple of really good receivers. Malachi Toney, their #1 target, 99 receptions, over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. He can absolutely take a game over and just have Carson Beck throw it somewhere near him. But if Malachi Toney gets shut down, they can start feeding the ball to Kalen Marion. He's a very good receiver in his own right and would be wide receiver #1 on a lot of teams. But where Miami shines the brightest is on defense, and specifically on the defensive line with their pass rush and their run containment. You have Rueben Bain Jr., who's probably the best defensive tackle in the country, an absolute monster, can get after the quarterback, can fill in a gap and stop the run. There's almost nothing that Rueben Bain Jr. can't do. You also have Akeem Mesidor. Rueben Bain Jr. is getting double teamed. Akeem Mesidor is taking on one dude by himself just fine. Not as good as Rueben Bain Jr., but very, very close. Miami also has some really good linebackers and some really good DBs. As a unit, this Miami defense gets a ton of pressure on the quarterback, with opposing quarterbacks scrambling for their life. Julian Sayin getting shut down. Trinidad Chambliss playing well, but still feeling the pressure. They're also incredible at stopping the run, holding Jeremiah Love, yes, Heisman candidate Jeremiah Love, to just 33 yards on 10 rushes. That's 3.3 yards per carry. That is not great for someone as good as Jeremiah Love. Miami can stop the run just fine. And even their DBs, who are probably the worst part of their defense, and I'm putting worst part of their defense in quotes, is still incredibly good with really sticky, good coverage. It is going to be hard for Indiana to do anything on this Miami defense. So what's going to happen when we see a very fundamentally good football team with not a ton of superstars face off against a team with a lot of really good players that are superstars in their own right, but kind of struggles at times? But we're going to find out on Monday in the national championship game. And for my pick, I've gone back and forth on this since these semifinal games ended. But I'm going to go Indiana. I don't know if I trust Carson Beck to be able to deliver in this moment. Miami's defense may hold Indiana to less than 20 points, but I think Miami's offense is going to be very one-dimensional, really leaning on Mark Fletcher to carry them. And the way Indiana has looked, the way that Indiana can play perfect football, the way that Indiana can execute their job, I don't think a one-dimensional team will be able to beat them. But let me know in the comments down below who you think is going to win. Do you think Miami has the star power to beat Indiana, or do you think Indiana is going to play perfect football and beat the superstar team? And as always, make sure to like and subscribe if you like college football content. It helps my channel grow, and it pushes more college football content on your feed. It's a win-win.